All right, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to yet another great episode of You Didn't Get the Memo. Guys, as always, we just continue to raise the bar. I'm bringing to you another fantastic show with a renowned artist, and we're going to chat with her, see some of her paintings, and just really just kind of delve into things. But before we get started, I want to remind all of you who are new to You Didn't Get the Memo. Hey, look, we strive to provide you, the viewer, with relevant, factual, mainstream information to help you be informed and to make informed decisions. The great thing about this venue, if you have comments or you have questions for the guests, you can place them in the comment section and we'll do our very best to get to you or respond to you. All right. So, as I said, my guest today is Miss Andrea McCoy Harvey. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Miss Andrea. She's a native of Little Rock, Arkansas. That's right. Look, a graduate from a HBCU, UAPB in the house. And for those of y'all who know, I am a Southern woman. I'm from Arkansas. So y'all know I got to give a shout out to my girl today. Yes, there are some of us folks that are really doing some things. But like I said, Miss Andrea received her formal art training at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. She received a bachelor's degree in art education. She is currently obtaining a master's degree in fine art at the Academy of Art, San Francisco. She's a member of Kappa Alpha sorority. They're gonna beat me up, AKA. So I send a shout out to all y'all. Y'all should be on here, supporting your sister. Now, let me just tell you, she is a public school art teacher for Emory Unified School District. And Andrea has recently opened her own art studio in Emeryville that will allow children and adults to create, explore, and enjoy, their interest in the visual arts. I got to tell y'all this, why she's on here and why this is so dope. Listen, Miss Andrea's work has been recognized by the De Young Museum in San Francisco. You heard that right. I didn't stutter. The District Wine Bar in Oakland, the Impact Hub in Oakland, the Booker T. Washington Community Center in San Francisco, Facebook headquarters in Menlo Park, Square headquarters in San Francisco, Abrams Cleghorn Art Gallery in Albany, Public Art in Alameda County, 100 women artists in the Bay Area, Dublin Art Collectives in Dublin, California. So what else is there for me to say but to bring the sister on? And y'all help me welcome Miss Andrea McCoy Harvey. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's exciting to have you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you,
awesome.
That was wonderful.
It was so much to talk about. I'm just excited, actually tongue-tied, to be able to have you on here and to talk about something that I love, looking at women, supporting women, entrepreneur women, and to have you on the show to talk about what it is that you do and the fact that art, something that has been removed from our schools. And I think it plays such an integral part in what it is that helps our children to grow up and to know and to become, something. People forgot art and music is key. That's what we need to be fighting for. So welcome, Miss Andrea, to this show. So look, I'm just going to jump right in and I'm just going to say, tell the viewers who Andrea McCoy Harvey is, kind of a little bit about your backstory.
Okay. Hey, y'all. Hey. Well, first, I am a mother. I'm a mother of 4 children. I'm getting ready to turn 49 in June. I'm pushing 50. My 4 children, I have a daughter that's 20, and I have a daughter that's 19. And like you said, I attended an HBCU, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Who are you rooting for? APB. There, I received my Bachelor of Science And I am a school teacher. I'm a public school teacher. I teach public school art. I've taught high school, middle school, and I'm currently teaching elementary. So that includes kindergarten through fifth grade right now. And yes, I have taken some courses at the Academy of Art San Francisco. And I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Ski wee.
I love it. I totally love it. Absolutely. Look, we already got people on here giving shout outs to you, fellow grads, their alma mater. I love it. People are saying, hello, Miss Andrea. And that's the beauty of this venue. We're able to get people to get engaged and be involved. So thank all of you guys for tuning in. We got Texas in the house. We, definitely we got California in the house. Just thank you guys so much, because that's the beauty of the show. We're all over. So people are tuning in. So you talked about the fact that you are an elementary school teacher. But before we go there, look, I want you to talk a little bit about your father, because he was the catalyst to you even getting into all of this. So let's play homage to him and talk about, what that's like growing up in the South. And we're talking about a Black girl who has a father, a Black man, who's talking about art. So let's,
Yes.
delve into it. Let's go there.
Yes. My father, Mr. Olin McCoy, he is an artist as well, which inspired me. He is also an art teacher as well. Those of you that attended McClellan High School, that had my father as an art teacher, I learned everything from him. He also taught at Dunbar. So those of you that attended Dunbar, and I grew up just watching my father be an artist, and he was a role model. He is currently still a role model in my life. I look up to him. He's my everything. I love him so much. I love him dearly. He's way in Arkansas. And I just want to say hey to everybody out there, those that are listening. But yes, my father, that's all I've known him to be, is an art teacher and role model, and a role model throughout our community. Growing up, our house was the house where everyone hung out, and everybody knew the McCoy girls and Mr. McCoy. And so he is definitely a role model in my life right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that there are folks from Arkansas that are tuned in. A lot of people love just being on YouTube. And by the way, for all of you, you know that you can go back and watch this. This broadcast stays up on both YouTube and also on Facebook. So be sure and share alike. But I love the fact that you mentioned Dunbar, because that you're talking about historically all Black school, Horace Mann Dunbar, which I am a part of the Alumni Association here in the Bay Area chapter. So Miss Andrea,
all right,
might have to bring you on over here. But absolutely, look, you got to recruit, definitely recruit. We have to keep that memory alive, because it's so strong. And I still say that what people got from schools back in the day, from their Black mentors and teachers, it pales in comparison to what a lot of kids now get today. And we all knew who we were and what we were going to be and what we were going to do when we were growing up. Failure wasn't an option. So to hear you talk about that, I think that that's absolutely awesome. So let's talk about the integral part of the work of an artist, right? So what would you say, because that's kind of a broad question, but I know that you're going to break it down and narrow it down to us for us. So let's talk about what that piece looks like. What's the integral piece of that work for an artist?
For me, because each artist is different, and there is no right way, there's no wrong way. But for me, I need to include a rich depth of colors. I'm attracted to color, and I focus on portraits. And of those portraits, I focus on the beautiful Black woman. Um, and within the Black woman, I emphasize hair, bone structure, skin tone, demeanor, facial expression, and I work on a large scale. So those are some of the key elements that I typically include within my composition, mainly the elements of art, which contain shape, color, texture, value, space, etc.
Okay, awesome. And yeah, absolutely. For each artist, it would be different. But why we wanted to be able to talk today was talk about how you're using your activism through art. And we're going to take a quick break. Guys, don't go anywhere. And when we come back, we're going to get into talking about how you use your art to really support the activism that is so needed, as you know, in our community. So thank you guys for all of your comments. Welcome for tuning in. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
All right. If you guys are just tuning in, I want to thank you for all your comments. Look, people are already talking about the pieces that's behind my guest, Miss Andrea Harvey, who is a renowned artist, and she's right here in the Bay Area, y'all. That's right here in the Bay Area. So, Miss Andrea, before we went to break, one of the things that I mentioned to you that we were going to talk about is how you're showing your activism through your art. So, talk to us a little bit about that, and tell us how that works, because we know that as sisters, we're talking about, people see some different things. So talk to us about, how you're using your art to show your activism.
My role as an artist in society is mainly serving as a tool for communication. I offer, within my work, it offers a form of like political or a social statement. And what I mean by that is I tend to focus on the hair of the Black woman and how society has portrayed our hair to be something negative in the workspace and also within our schools. Children are being faced with this, not being able to compete in sports, having to cut their hair in the middle of a competition, women not being able to, be hired in high corporate positions because they wear dreadlocks or braids. And, a lot of my work kind of focuses on that social injustice or bringing awareness to that fact. And you will see a lot of it in my artwork.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. The comments are saying, say that again, Andrea, speak the truth. And it really and truly is real. And not understanding, and we want our Black girls, Black and brown girls, and our boys, we want them to be proud of your skin tone, the hues, the colors. There is, you just can't even, I was looking at a show and the guy referred to himself as a piece of chocolate. And I'm thinking, yes, delicious, So, okay. So I think that it's important that you're showing your activism through that, because one of the things that I noticed in your bio is that you state that your inspiration for this particular series or body of work was inspired by the beauty and strength of the African American woman. And I think that that's so critical that, and I applaud you for, stepping out and saying, look, I'm not going to paint. You know what? We got wide hips, and we got big thighs, and we have big bust, and there is nothing. And I'm talking about in a very, sexually appealing and appearing way. And people are so busy trying to dummy that down. And that's not how it is. And you're absolutely right talking about corporate America. They keep talking about D&I, but you got to understand that how a person wears their hair, it does not define in who you think they really are, right? And it really is. And it was interesting that you commented on the young man. I think he was wrestling and they made him cut his dreads.
Absolutely. Yeah. Horrible. And as a school teacher, I've experienced it. I've seen it. Students being suspended or sent home because of their hair, and it's unacceptable. And also, I also want to represent. I want to leave representation. I want to. If I'm not here tomorrow, I want little kids to go into the DeYoung Museum and see a portrait of a Black woman with an afro, and see a portrait of a Black woman with cornrows. And, growing up when I was younger, I didn't see that. It was, the fair skin, straight hair, natural hair wasn't even okay back then. We always had, perms or straightened our hair. And I just feel like representation matters. And I recently had an exhibition at Macy's, and I met a little girl. She was probably maybe 7 years old. And her mother told me that she's an artist and that she had never seen anyone that looked like her in person as an artist, and portraits that looked like her. And that absolutely touched my heart. And if I don't do anything else in this world, I want to leave representation so that little girls like that can see that it is possible. You can do that. Your hair is beautiful. You are beautiful. Your skin is beautiful. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. And look, people are commenting. All right, ATL in the house. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And they're all coming on about the portraits in the background. They love that. And so, y'all, I just want to tell you that they all are for sale. And so, and you see, I've been making sure that the website is up there, and that's what it's all about. Everybody, I believe this. We all should have some Black art in our house, and for me, growing up, of course, Andrea, I can definitely relate to what you're saying. Every Saturday evening, it was the press and comb or some concholine and, all of that. And now I'm loving seeing, especially sisters, they're just wearing their hair, their natural hair, and it's just beautiful. So to hear you talk about that, and then to show the kids, especially a lot of our Black and brown children who are biracial, one of the things is, the parents not knowing what to do with their hair, and they need to be okay with that. I recently read an article where I want to say it was somewhere in the Midwest or maybe it was on the East Coast, and a school teacher cut this kid who was biracial, cut her curly locks, cut her hair all off. Totally unacceptable. And I was just incensed with that. But we know that there are people out there that have these ideas or notions of what the child should look like. And I want all parents who are watching this that have kids with hair that's not all straight. Not all kids gonna have straight hair or curly hair, or that you need to perm their hair. You need to learn how to deal with it and let them be comfortable in their own skin. And I think that's where it starts.
Hair is okay. It is perfectly fine.
Absolutely. So
4C hair, okay?
right. I love that. Would you say 4C?
4C.
I love it. I love that. So I think that that's really important. And I just thank you for bringing it out and for standing up and saying, okay, hey, look, wait a minute. We have got to do something different here. And I just think that this is where it all starts. And it starts with you. But look, I just can't. Okay, I'm going to jump the gun because I just want to talk about the fact that my girl, look, your stuff, D. Young Museum. Look, let's just tell our viewers what that means to have art in the De Young Museum. Look, I'm gonna give you the floor. Take it away, my sister.
Wow. The De Young Museum. It means that's major. I've been accepted in the art world officially. It's like the Masters, and the De Young was an open call. It was a juror community show. Some of the jurors were Enrique Shagoa and Hung Lee and Mildred Howard, some famous artists around the Bay Area. The De Young was celebrating their 125th anniversary. And so they opened the call to the 9 Bay Area counties. And they had 12,000 submissions. Each artist was allowed to submit 2 pieces. I submitted 2 pieces and they accepted 1. And it was this one right here. I can't point to it. Oh, there it is. That one right there.
Right.
That is in the De Young right there. Well, it was in the De Young, and it's sold in the museum. It's sold.
Awesome.
Yes. They ultimately ended up picking a few artists, and it exhibited in the museum for a few months. And yeah, so I made it.
Yes, you did. And that is such a huge honor. In fact, we have one viewer that says, Andrea, congratulations on your acceptance into the juried art exhibit at the De Young. Girl, I'm literally reading. She said, girl, that's major.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean, I am so proud of you, not because you're just a fellow Arkansan, but the fact that you're a sister, you're a dope sister, you are doing things. And I just want people to really realize and recognize the talent that we have, even though, like I said, we've got people all around the country that are tuned in. Thank you guys so much. But people can purchase your art. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take another quick break. Guys, don't go nowhere, because now I am just going to let her bust all the way out and talk about these different pieces. So are you okay with that, Andrea?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it. Testing. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
All right. If you guys are just joining us, and thanks so many of you that are on and for your comments, I am on with a renowned artist, Miss Andrea McCoy Harvey. This sister is just dope. She is one of the badass artists that's here in the Bay Area, but the sister is about doing some things. So before we went to break, I promised you that one of the things that we would do is to highlight some of her art. So are you ready, Andrea? I think she's frozen. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So here is what I'm sorry. All right. So we're going to share screen and see what happens. Here we go. All right. Hang tight. Okay.
There we are.
Yes. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So talk to us about this particular piece.
This is one of my most recent pieces. It's actually right behind me. It's a 32 by 40 inches. I typically work on a larger scale. And again, as you can see here, I am focusing on the hair. The cornrows, especially, I brought attention to the cornrows with the white design pattern in there. I wanted to make the cornrows look particularly realistic. And the facial expression on her is more of a calm, she's facing whatever comes her way right now, whatever obstacles, she's keeping her chin up and you know, unbothered. She is unbothered.
I like that. Yeah. Unbothered.
I took the time out. I wanted to especially elongate the neck. And there you'll see the bone structure that I wanted to emphasize with the Black woman, the cheekbones, our lips, the warm skin tone, and then the earring as well. You know, I did some research on some African portraits of African women in different African tribes, and I became attracted to the jewelry that they created, and I wanted to bring that historical part from the past into the present to kind of help emphasize, you know, our culture, so to speak, then and now at the same time.
Right. Okay. Let's see. All right.
And here, this is the Afro goddess that was featured in the De Young. And as you can see, I did emphasize her afro. If you zoom in closer, I don't know if you can, but you can see a rose pattern or flower pattern, floral pattern that I incorporated into the hair. Underneath is acrylic paint. On top of it is charcoal. So it's kind of a mixed media type of situation. When I was creating this, I had the Mona Lisa in mind, and I was like, okay, I'm about to make the Black Mona Lisa right now. So that is my version of you know, the Mona Lisa and how you know, I portray her to be, and through my eyes.
Yes. Yes.
And, yeah, so I also incorporate my signature hoop earrings because you know a lot of Black women wear our hoop earrings, and
Right.
we wear them big, you know, and so I wanted to also showcase again her bone structure by giving that subtle light on her her face and a calm mood. Again, she also is unbothered. She's walking forward with her head, held high and strong.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. All right, let's look at the next piece. I'm in love with the colors. I love it. I love it. So talk about this piece.
Okay, here I am now. NFT art is non-fungible token art where you can, I can sell my art through Bitcoins and, stuff like that. And here I've taken my original painting, I had it photographed, then now I have it in a digital format, which is a JPEG, a high resolution JPEG. And so now I'm able to work with it and create a entirely new original digitally. And so this is the new digital original. So I have technically two originals of one piece.
Right.
And here I wanted to again include the elements of art. One key element is color. I am definitely 100% attracted to color, and there's no way around it. I just want that to be a part of one of my signature traits that, oh, when you see this, you know that that's my piece.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then when you look at color, one of the things is purple. The colors that you've chosen speaks to royalty, speaks to integrity, speaks to honesty, speaks to truth. So I see all of that in this particular painting, and maybe that's why I'm so drawn to it. But when you think about royalty, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. You got that right.
Yeah. You get a royalty, a sense of strength and warmth at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
I want to portray that too as well.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think I have one more. Love this piece too.
Yes, and this is my rendition of, there was a poster of Angela Davis.
Mm-hmm.
It says power to the people, and at the bottom there's power and equality. But this is my rendition of it. I use my skin tone to create this version. And again, the emphasis is in the hair. Her chin is, being held up high. And if you step back a little bit for a moment and look at it, there is a silhouette of a tree.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that is done purposely because I feel like we are the originals. We are we are the earth. And I wanted to emphasize the root of the tree, creating her neck, going down to her shoulders, and then there's a structure holding up her chin, which is the community. We all have to come together, unite, and support each other within our community. And when we have all of those together combined, we are powerful and unstoppable.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. So let's see if we can get you back, and let's stop sharing the screen here. My computer just decides that it wants to do whatever it wants to do. So we'll just roll with that. All right. But with that, let's see. All right. So let me see if I can bring us back into focus here. All right. And we're going to remove. And there you are. Okay. So look, I'm just going to take a moment because we've got all these comments while you're sharing. Let's see. Here's a question for you, Andrea. Do you use live models for your subject matter? And what medium do you prefer when creating your artistry? That's a question from one of the viewers.
That's a good question. I do not use live models. However, I am not opposed to it. So I have not yet used a live model. Most of my research comes from images that I find online, or people that I know, people that inspire me. I'll randomly just come across a photo. Just recently, I came across a photo of my sorority sister, and I drew her and turned her photo into a card, a fine art greeting card. And, it's just certain moments and certain demeanors and energy that you're giving that I'm attracted to and that inspire me and that I can learn from, especially women that uh, doing things in the community and being a role model and an example in the community. I definitely admire those type of women, and typically choose to draw, something similar.
Oh,
And the the medium that I use is pastels. So I use it's like a little pad of, or a little cake, so to speak, of pastels, and this is all done with my fingers. So I'm I sketch it out with a pencil, and then I just kind of dab my finger into the cake of the pastel, and I'm just working it around with my fingers. And then to add the detail, I'll use oil pastels with accents of acrylics. So everything is mainly soft pastels, and what I mean by pastels is just like a chalk. So it's a dry chalk, and I spray it down when I'm done, and that's it.
yeah. Oh, awesome. We had a question, and I put your website up. People wanted to know about the price, and it is on her website. And you can just buy. I want to say you had different sizes in terms of prints that people can get. So that's why I want to encourage all of you to be sure and to make sure that you go on and you support this young woman. She's doing a lot of great things. You know how that goes. Everybody afterwards, like, oh, I know her. But, get the pieces now, and you won't have to worry later on. And it should be hanging in your space. I know that for me, I saw several pieces, but of course, I will say I'm selfish, and so I want to meet up with you so I can get mine signed
Oh yeah,
personally.
you're absolutely welcome to my studio right now. This is my studio. It's a live work studio. It's more like a loft, just one big open space. So
Mhm.
I'm able to just roll out of bed and roll into my studio. Work
Look,
away.
that's living. That's how we do it. Okay, so that's the thing. I am posting. Thank you guys all for all of you. You're asking about our website. I'm posting it again. She's at www.avant Art Studio by Andrea.com. You can go there and check out all of her paintings. Someone asked, so I'm gonna let you shout out. Someone said, what sorority? Now, if you didn't figure out by this color, what sorority?
Fall 93. Fall. I pledge Fall 93. Alpha Rho chapter UAPB.
Right.
24
Yeah.
reasons to envy.
I
Yeah.
love it. So did y'all get that? Definitely, AKA. That's the sorority. So I love the comments, and I love this venue, which allows us to be able to, to share and highlight the various artists, entrepreneurs, business owners that are around the country. But I am so fortunate. She's right here in my backyard in Oaktown, y'all. And I'm just telling you, the sister is dope. And I can't say enough about her being, the Young Museum. I'm thinking, wow. It's just off the hook. And by the way, some gentleman named Chris Shelton just said, "Hey, stop all that."
Hey, Chris. And Chris absolutely has, helped my career as well. He was the one that recommended me for the Booker T. Washington Community Center exhibition. So shout out to Booker T. Washington, all the folks out there. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's all about. Each one, reach one, teach one. I always say, I know people finally, this time of the day, but listen, y'all, you can go back and always look at each interview. You can share that interview. And I just say, hey, support us, support what it is that we're trying to do. Look, I had one gentleman on the show, and he just said, when you shout out the AKAs, he says, nice, Gamma Sigma Kappa of Kappa Alpha Psi at UAPB here, spring of 99. So I love the bantering back and forth, but I love even more that your spirit, the fact that you are doing so many things. And I am so very proud of you. And I'm really proud that I have the ability to bring this to people all around the country, and they get a chance to see Miss Andrea McCoy Harvey and what it is that you're doing. So I love all this feedback. So all right, so let's get back in. Our time is winding down. But let me just ask you this. When we talk about artists, and I opened the show talking about the need that, the arts, it needs, music, art, it needs to be in schools. So talk about what that role that an artist actually plays in society as a whole. What does that mean to you? What are your thoughts around that, you personally?
For me, I feel like my pieces should inspire dialogue. I want people to start having the conversation. Don't be afraid to talk about it. If you're white, Black, Filipino, Latina, whatever it is, have the conversation and be comfortable about it. Take time out to just say, hey, you know what? This is an interesting piece. What do you think about it? And then just, open up, and that when you're opening up, it allows someone else to open up, and you're vulnerable, and you're having that conversation, and so I just feel like with a lot of artists, their artwork does inspire dialogue. And with things going on today, we shouldn't be afraid of having the conversation. And let's start doing that. It's simple.
Right. Conversations definitely needed. And what a great way, I think, being able to be in an art museum and to ask, because it's really interesting, like how you talked about the one piece where it actually, what I looked at, it was like, it looks like it's a tree growing up in her net. But to have people talk about that and what that could possibly mean, and even more so to be able to hear it from the artist's perspective. But like you said, to start the dialogue, let's start to talk about it. Let's not be afraid, because you know what? If you don't know, I can deal with someone who asks me a question about my hair. Why is it short, or why is it curly, or why is it does certain things, because they really and truly don't know. And there's a way to approach a person to do that, as opposed to, I always say, making an assumption about something that you know absolutely nothing about, whether it's you like bright colors, or you wear your hair a different way, or whatever that case may be. So I really and truly appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have experienced that as well, just being a school teacher, a public school teacher. And one of the areas I taught was the Tracy Unified School District area. And, and a lot of times, this were students' very first time having a Black teacher, so I was representation, and they, those students were comfortable with having that conversation with me, and I felt like not only was I meant to be in this place, in this space, in that moment in time to be an art teacher, but I was meant to be there to have that conversation with a teenager that had questions, And so um, I was there to answer, and I was there to represent and to understand their perspective, and for that student to understand mine, and to respect each other's perspective, and perspective is that has a lot to do with the
Right.
conversation. You
Right.
really have to listen to someone's perspective and
Yes.
hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That non-judgmental piece.
Right.
That plays a huge part in just accepting people as they are. And really and truly, I can always say, I may not like what you do, but I want to understand why you do it. It doesn't. It shouldn't take away from, but people who make these assumptions without even knowing, right? And not even understanding. So that's the thing. So let me ask you this, Andrea. What are your thoughts on more people supporting Black artists, Black businesses?
Oh my goodness. Go out there, do it, do your thing, support Black businesses all day, every day. I feel like you should have at, at least 10 things in your household that was produced or made or came from a Black business. More than 10, just there needs to be more support. I'm new in the Black business area. I just recently started my business, and I started right before COVID happened, and just reaching out and trying to get that PPP and all that stuff. Believe it or not, was still difficult. Even though I don't run a business where I have 500 employees, but you still have to mark that box on ethnicity and and I do feel like there were some difficulties for me, getting, that help to keep my business afloat. I didn't give up. There were some other opportunities as far as grants that were given for me. But for the most part, supporting a Black business, it shouldn't be a question. It's just it's like everything else.
Right, right. Absolutely. And I share in those pains with you, trying to get a PPE loan or grant, and, people looking at whether or not somebody determined whether or not this is a value.
Right.
What determines that? And because I may not have employees per se, but you are still sourcing out different parts of what it is that you do to other people to help you to make the business run. So I totally agree with that. So I'm going to ask you to marinate on this for just a moment. We're going to take a really, really short, quick break. And when we come back, I want you to think about what it is that you want people who are watching the show, what is it that you want them to take away from today's show? Okay? We'll be right back. Guys, don't go anywhere.
Thank you for watching the You Didn't Get the Memo show with your inspirational host, Gloria Bailey Ray. It's your contributions that make this happen. To become a sponsor, send an email to youdidn'tgetthememo@gmail.com. That's the letter U, didn't get the memo. If you're not in a space to be a sponsor, but you like what you hear, we simply ask that you support what you like by making a contribution to the show. There are 3 ways to make an online donation. Visit paypal.me/Gloria Bailey Ray or Cash App or Venmo, Gloria Bailey Ray. Give what you can. Your support is appreciated.
All right. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging in here. This has been such an exciting and informational, inspirational show today with my guest, renowned artist, Miss Andrea McCoy Harvey. And before we took this quick break, one of the things that I asked her to marinate on was, what is it that she wants people who are watching the show today, what is it that you want people to take away from today's show?
I want people to take away to follow your dreams, or allow your child to follow their dreams, or your nephew, your niece. If you see some type of passion that they're passionate about, support it. Be there for them. Just listen. Um, Push them to believe in themselves, because dreams definitely do come true. They do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Don't go anywhere, Miss Andrea. I'm going to come right back to you, okay? I want to say to our viewers, first of all, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another show. And I want to thank my guest, Miss Andrea McCoy Harvey, for being on the show today. I want to remind you guys to remember to support our efforts by inquiring about our sponsorship packages, or making a donation of any amount. But hey, I want you to be sure and follow me on all social media platforms, and mark your calendar for every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to join me and my dynamic guest. All right, heads up, Noops. Listen, you want to join me, because coming up next week, one of your own is going to be a guest on the You Didn't Get the Memo show. That's right. It's going to be called Where Cosmetology Meets Technology. And my guest, the CEO and founder, Mr. Derek Butler, we're going to be talking about how cosmetology is going to be changed based upon technology. And I can't wait to talk about this. And then as we roll into the month of June 1st, my dynamic speaker, author, Miss and New Yorker, that's right, she's from New York, Miss Frenchie Davis, who's a sexual abolitionist. And y'all saying, what is that? You got to tune in to find out. But she's going to be talking about the things that my mother taught me but didn't teach me. So I say that, guys, I want you to go out. I want you to do everything that you can to be kind. Pay it forward. And as I always say, if you didn't take anything away from today's show, then it's really you who really didn't get the memo. Remember this. The quality of your life is determined by the decisions that you make. Guys, be well, pay it forward, be kind, and practice emotional intelligence. I'm your host, Gloria Bailey Ray. Until next week, peace out.